go. So, welcome back to the channel. This morning, we figured out the fuel pump works. I don't know why it isn't pumping fuel. For the last little while, I took this whole thing. Oh, no, that's the worst. Last time we thought the fuel pump wasn't working, and I didn't want to start filming things today until I had an answer, because us searching for problems is getting very repetitive and annoying. So I took the top off, it was clean. I took the bottom off, it was clean. I was rotating the engine and I wasn't seeing anything moving here. I wasn't feeling suction, so I'm like, okay, this thing's not working. So I took it off and just did that little test, which proves that as long as this is pushing, it should be pumping gas, because I just pumped dirty old gas from Emerson's gas tank into cups and all over the floor. I wonder if I do this. Here's another little test. Oh, there you go. There we go. We have fuel. All right. So now this line is primed, according to me. That's good though, that's exactly what I wanted. So that is the closest we've gotten to gas being in this carburetor yet. It is here, it has never been here.
So right now you're just hoping for a start.
Right now I don't want it even to start, I want to see gas. I'm just trying to solve one problem at a time here.
Something's, it's like over here.
What?
Whatever's like.
Oh yeah, that's this.
That's fine, it's not sparking?
No, it's just, it's hitting the fan. I can't find the bracket yet.
That's fine.
But no gas came out of this. Everything in here is dry. So weird. This is where we were yesterday. Nothing, there's no pressure, there's nothing coming to this hose. We're gonna make a phone call that might get us nowhere, might get us everywhere.
Why are you bugging me when I'm watching your video?
Hey, good, I need your help with something relating to my video actually. In there, that's the lobe coming off the distributor. Can you kind of see it? Yeah. I FaceTimed Courtney's dad because I knew he would know a lot about like this mechanical style pump and stuff. We did a couple tests on it and we can't figure out why it works. Like when I pump it manually, gas is coming out, but when I put it on there, it doesn't work. So we actually found that there's a spacer that wasn't on there before. We added the spacer and then we thought maybe it wasn't spaced enough, so I added some washers. But at this point, it's still doing absolutely nothing. So there might be something wrong with the actual lobe. It's stuff that like, it's impossible for me to know because I'm not educated enough on this style. And he's not here, so he can only help me so much over FaceTime. So what we did, we just ran out really quickly and we bought a electric pump. So what I'm gonna do is I'm basically just gonna bypass this one, use this, and as long as this works, as long as we're not finding that the problem is something stupid and elsewhere, if I plug this thing in and we get gas flowing, bought some extra line too just to make the line. As long as we plug it in and it works, then we're just gonna basically just leave this thing in here doing absolutely nothing. Skip it, I'll wire this thing to the ignition and we can just have an electric pump. Got a clamp on, this is grounded, and then I just wired this up to here for now. If this works, I'll wire it properly to the ignition and make it like come on and off with the car. So when I touch this, gas should start flowing out of there into the cup. I hear it, there it is. That is good, dude, that is exactly what we want. So now I was told that even if you power this on right now, obviously this needs to be to the ignition switch, but right now, if I hit go, gas shouldn't flood this thing because it should need like an operational signal, some sort of opening valve. All right, Courtney's washing her car, neighbor's making hella noise. I'm gonna put you guys right here. We're getting fuel, it just doesn't want to go. Man. Something's leaking back here now. I guess probably the recirc hose is leaking. And whatever's recirculating the extra gas that's recirculating that we're not using is just pouring onto the floor instead of going into the car. Okay, so all these lines that leaked on the ground, if you look at them, like the way I got them off was literally by grabbing them and just going like that. Like these are the worst, oldest lines. Relined basically everything that has to do with the fuel system. This is a new line, 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 the little T up there is new. And then I replaced like the little guys over here also. So we did half this yesterday. What we should have done was just do all of it yesterday. Like when we were doing the sending portion, we should have just realized that everything was gonna be pooched and do it all. Today's been a lot of just trying to figure things out, and I'm annoyed with it. I feel like as this little series is progressing, I'm doing more and more working without filming it because we're just trying to diagnose things. I FaceTimed Courtney's dad again. Huge shout out to Mark because he actually is helping me out a lot. We deciphered that the distributor is not working, so we're not getting spark. So we got the fuel and everything fixed, which is good, and then the final step is we're not getting any spark, so we took this whole distributor apart. A lot of people probably understand this. I didn't until I looked in here right now. But right there is supposed to be sparking when you turn it over, and it's not, and it's not working. We just did like a 20-minute FaceTime and we went through this whole little trial and error process. That thing's no bueno. Which means that the engine we can't go any farther right now. We can't proceed anymore with the engine. We're gonna need a couple of pieces for inside. We're gonna need like a distributor cap, we're gonna need this little igniter chip, and we're gonna need whatever these things are called, these little flint. These are just like little booty clappers right here. I'm gonna have to make a list of stuff that needs, and then while we're at it, we're gonna add a couple things that, you know, I found elsewhere that we're gonna need also. Problem being right now, as far as I'm aware, and I'm not the most aware guy because I try to let the world do its thing and stay in my zone and completely ignore everything that's happening because that seems to make me the happiest because I don't worry about other. Right now the borders are closed down for non-essential things. So if I order car parts from the US, they won't come right now because of all the stuff that's happening. So, which is, and I hate that I can't say the name of it. You know? It's just a huge pain in the ass. The virus has gotten a lot of things kind of shut down right now. So, as far as I'm aware, we will be able to order the parts if they show up, I don't know. Which is a huge kick in the nuts. We got super close and I'm really not pleased that we got this close and then with the stupidest things are stopping us. But I mean, that, I guess is what you expect. This car is literally 47 years old. And who knows when the last time that was, you know, taken apart or rebuilt or... The engine was my priority, but now that I can't do it, I should be able to start rifling through other things. So, where do I even want to start? We're using this paint pen to mark lines on the lobe inside the distributor. I'm gonna put a little sad face because the engine, no bueno. Wiring, as far as I can see, is done. Everything's plumbed and everything is assembled. Got the steering wheel on, not 100% because I want to get all the wiring tucked up before I start bolting on covers and things. Wires need to happen. The seat is in. The glass is still at Derek's. We need to do speakers. There's got to be more than that. New plan, just start picking things up that need to go on the car. And start putting them on the car. Then you go into R for race mode. Good. That's loud. It's fast. That's what you want. You want speed. I am speed. You know who says that? Lightning McQueen. You know why? He's one fast mo. Funny how just putting like the windows and stuff on makes it look like so much more of a car than just like a weird little shell. I can say safely that absolutely none of this lines up perfectly. Like the windows are all kind of ajar, everything's a little bit weird, but that's just, I think, like the nature of the fact that this car is so old. And also a lot of these trims are like aftermarket trims, so they don't all fit perfectly. You can see this one here is just a little bit too long. And then things like this chrome piece, I just had to pick like the better of the two. So this one's all right. It had a little bit of yuckies on it, but I tried to clean it up as best as I could. Window kind of fits. The inside of the door is actually not too bad to look at. I can't find this little piece, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. Also, we're running into a little bit of a thing last night. Pretty much, like, we don't even know if we're gonna want to do this harness, or if we should just give this car to like a wiring specialist, because that is what would make the most sense. As sure, Brad knows what he's doing with wiring, but like we don't at the same time have as much experience with like a full harness on a car. And I know for a fact that there's people out there that can build a proper harness or get this harness that we have that we don't really know how to work in there a lot better than what we can. And we kind of just paused pretty much. I'm just gonna ask Derek if he's willing to give it to someone that can specialize in that kind of stuff, just because we don't, and I don't want to be responsible for like fuses keep blowing or things keep going wrong. I can't take responsibility for that because we aren't wiring guys. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's not what we do. So for us to take responsibility for something that we just tried to make work is different when it's our cars, and we can just be like, oh, it didn't work. But I'm not gonna give this car back to like a 70-year-old man and then have him have problems because we jerry-rigged up the wiring. So I don't even remember what I filmed last or what I was showing you guys, but I got these little signal markers, or whatever these little things are. Cut out a space for this one. These guys are in. The whole front end is kind of, aside from those two missing little things, pretty complete. It actually looks pretty cool. I didn't know what it was gonna look like at first. Like I said, I'd never actually seen one of these cars, so I just like went based off what I was seeing in real life, and it looks pretty cool. There's a couple trims and stuff that are missing because like there's chrome trim that goes around these wheel wells, but it needs these clips that sit on these little tabs, and then those clips clip onto the actual chrome, and we don't have any of those, so I can't put on any of the body trim, which kind of sucks because it would really make it kind of pop. Now we just have a little wire in there holding this down. That's why it doesn't sit flat. You saw me messing with some other things, so in here I was like trying to make the clutch pedal work because the clutch for some reason was always all like depressed all the way to the ground. So I got this thing wired in, so now the clutch actually works nice, which is cool. Shifter's in. Shift boot is way too big for this shifter. I don't know if it's the wrong one or something, but I threw it in there anyways. I hate that I introduced this thing as like a project, but I can't finish it. And that's not something I enjoy to do. I enjoy to like completely build the cars, and you guys know that I like to just like have projects to go and always have content and always have fun with it. So for something like this to kind of just stall out, it upsets me. I wish I could have finished it and do like a full finish finale. I still will, I just don't know when. That's the problem. So at one point this car will be completely buttoned up. I'll be able to show it to you guys. We'll be able to be like, the car is 100% done. The issues that we're running into now is this is as complete as I can personally get it. Like I was trying to explain to you guys earlier, this fuse box doesn't make any sense. This fuse box that came with the car, all these wires are cut. Like we don't know what the heck. We just don't know. Like we don't want to be responsible for all this. This is just a huge mess. Fortunately, without doing this, we can't wire in the cluster. We can't put the dash on. It's a very basic car. There's not a whole lot left. To get the windshield in, because the windshield's not in right now, to put the windshield on, you need to have the dash on apparently. The windshield won't go in, or the dash won't go in without taking out the windshield. Seems very weird, but that's the way it is. So we're basically stopped here. And until, like I said, until we start getting the wiring done, then we can do the last couple little pieces. Told Derek the parts that he needs to order, and he said he's gonna order a bunch of stuff and it's gonna come from the States. And that's the other problem, is that right now is like the worst time for this stupid thing to be happening. And normally I wouldn't be worried about it. I'd be like, yeah, the parts will be here next week, we'll just finish it up. But I don't know when they're gonna get here. I don't know anything. So I hate that this is gonna kind of get left off in a weird place. I will update you guys, because I know a lot of you guys have been watching this whole thing and you want to know what happens with this car, so I will update you guys with what we end up doing and whatever ends up happening. But for now, we just hit a block and we're done. I was looking around and I feel like I didn't accomplish a whole lot because it doesn't look like it, but like at the same time I didn't stop working all week, so like I had to have done something. So I don't know. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much. What the heck is that? Don't touch me. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out and stay committed.